Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, neighborhood pyrography artist, drawing with hubby
Hubcap.
and fur babies.
Woof, woof, woof.
And today we are going to put in more darks on the face because now that I've got a lot of the background in, it still needs to be darkened, as does he. So we're going to ignore this right now because Virginia has to go darker in order to pull off what I'm wanting to pull off. But we can also see now how light his face has gone because of this darkness. So we're going to start off with that. I'm going to start off with the 18 small on 3. And then we will go from there. So quick housekeeping stuff. The storm that hit LA is now starting with us. And we got heavy snow going on. Hoo-hoo! But if something happens with the live, I'm not going to try to reset it. We'll just pick it back up next week because, yeah, hopefully this is a good one. It's been coming down pretty hard. So, yeah. Fingers crossed, we'll be all good. We'll get through it, no issues. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Sheila. Hey, what is this? Hey, Michelle. Wanda, Cynthia. Hello. Alrighty, so we are going to get started. I think we need to start putting in this side of his face so I can darken up the background. I left a little gap because I wanted to make sure I didn't go over the line, so once I can get that burning in, I can bring it close. I'm also going to discuss how I've gotten dark to this point. It's been several pens, and I've narrowed it down to the pattern that I wanted to do. So we'll discuss that. And what else? Oh, I have to correct myself from last week because I misspoke. So I really want to fix that because I don't like misspeaking. So
Is this about the burnishing?
It's about the burnishing.
Okay.
You caught me off guard with the question, and I answered it wrong.
Oh.
So we're going to fix that. Alright, let's get us angled. I think I'll make him a little smaller. That way you guys can still see the reference photo, but he's not so large. There we go. Oh, I see the other one back there. Alright, so is this bright enough for you? Is it washed out on screen?
No, it looks very crisp.
Alright, good.
To me.
That's what I want. That's why we've gone dark.
Just so you guys know, I'm watching the same way you guys are. I'm watching through an internet connection, so it's not like I'm getting a direct feed. So I see what you guys see.
Alright. So, right here, we got the side of the cheek. So I'm going to lay that down, and now I can
what is this?
see.
What are you eating?
I can go darker.
You swallowed it.
Let's make sure I'm getting... That's actually lighter. The dark is on the inside of this line, so I need to fix that. It comes down from his mustache, but I caught it, so we're all good. So I'm going to bring this down, and now I can go darker because I have that background line in. So I'm just darkening up the shadow. And it goes up to his cheek right here. We've got some light right here that I need to keep. I'll erase this line because I have to. I see that I need to readjust it a bit. But that can wait in a second. He's got a little bit of mole right here, so we will lightly put that in. Doesn't have to be dark, so I'm not going to make it dark. Then I can start going right up against the face line. I'll have to darken it later, but this way I know that I have the shape of his face correct. Let's see here. Ah, this is really dark right here, so I wasn't too off. So I'm going to darken this up. I had to push a good 10 hours to get the background that you see in. I had a sore hand afterwards. Alright, so we'll get the cheek in. touch down in a dark area, and then drag over. I don't think I can go too awfully wrong with the tone now that I have in what I need. So get this in.
Hey, be nice. Jealousy. Yeah, you both can get down.
Alright, so I'm going to quickly erase that line because now I can get rid of it. I would like to be able to get all the graphite off today so we can wipe it down with denatured alcohol. Outside the US, that would be methylated spirits. And I do that to clean off any of... I am bumped down to 2.5 just so I have a little bit more control. Cleans off any eraser gunk, oil from your hand. You probably will feel a difference in the burning. It'll feel a little smoother. At least that's what I have noticed. For me, this goes up. What I haven't been able to figure out on the reference is if we can actually see his ear right here. So that's why I haven't filled that in yet, because I'm not quite sure. So I figured if I get everything else in, then I can make an artistic choice as to whether or not to put the ear in, because it is so minor. You guys will know because I told you, but somebody else looking at it wouldn't know. Alright, so we're up against the nose. That can go a little darker. And see, even though I am going darker, still looks pretty light. He's got a really good shadow under his chin. But now I can see all this right here needs to go darker. And that's because of the darks that I put in other areas. So we'll get that in.
I have if you look at the progress pictures on this, the way that you uh-oh. Oh no. That was Layla.
Hopefully the mic didn't pick that up because that was rude.
That's rude. It's gonna smell rude too. The way that you go about, you know, getting your work rendered is it comes into focus light to dark, much in the same way a Polaroid does.
Yes.
So you won't see, when Valarie does work, you won't see like I know some people work and they just work very dark right away, but what you will see is you'll see her getting everything in very lightly and then developing and adjusting, you know, as she needs to. And if you look at a time lapse, it very much is like a Polaroid. And I always find that fascinating because it's an interesting concept that the way that you're doing it, you know, it's like a manual artistic version of photography development in a way. I don't know how to say it, but it's just interesting to me.
Alright, I'm flat right now and I'm moving pretty quick because I don't want it to be dark. So
did you say hi to everybody?
I did.
Okay.
Alright. So in staying flat, I can control the heat better, move quicker, and hopefully, knock on wood, not go too dark too quickly. I know it takes time. The way I burn takes a lot of time.
But I think it's worth it, and of course there's going to be different people who have different schools of thought on this. You know, some people want to get their work done quick, and that's fine. but that work is going to be you're boxing yourself in right from the get-go. I suppose if you're very confident, but you're also charring the wood if you're going that dark immediately. And I think your way, I think it develops it over time.
I have a bit more control.
It's more control, and you don't end up with a charred appearance. You end up with,
hopefully,
with richer tones. Because when you char the wood like right off the bat, that creates other problems, you know.
So I'm just going flat. I'm going to have to color in burn in most of his skin tone so that the highlights stand out more. So that's why I'm flat at 2.5. Let's see here. Got to remember this eye threw me off a bit. Alright, so how did I misspeak last week? Jason asked me about burnishing and not wanting to do it. And then it hit me what I said as I was working on him the other day. And have you ever had those moments of, I wish I would have said something different, or...
All the time.
Well, that's what happened with me. The only time you don't want to burnish the wood is when you're sanding. Because burning is burnishing the wood. And the way you know that is, do you see the face is going to be the easiest way for me to point it out right now. So you see all this shininess where I've got a light burn? Everywhere I've got the light burn, we've got shininess. That is all burnished. When we apply heat to wood, it pushes the grain down, and that burnishes the wood. Now, burnishing is a graphite color pencil term used in regards to the paper they use, and pushing down the tooth, which is the fibers of the paper, called burnishing. You're pushing down the tooth. Well, in our case, we're pushing down the grain. We're laying the grain flat as we're burning it. So that's how I misspoke. We do burnish the whole thing. By the time we're done, every spot that's got burning on it is burnished. You just don't want it while you're sanding, or when you've sanded, because then it requires higher heat to burn through, which means your pen's going to get hotter, your hand's going to get hotter. So that's why you want to avoid it while sanding. So that's how I misspoke.
When you're burning, right? So you've so I guess my question is, so you've got these areas that are dark and burnished. Are those more difficult to get darker? Because
yes, they require higher heat.
Okay.
Because you're sealing off the grain.
Gotcha. Yeah. But I would still add, and of course this is just me observing your process. It is still, in my mind, preferable to going super dark right away. Because,
yes.
Yeah, that might be easier. But you're going to get a lot of texture and charring from your tool, whatever tool you're using. And that's when you wipe it down, it's going to come off, for one, and two, it's going to be a weird texture. If you look at Valerie's texture that she's got here, it's very smooth.
That's a lot of work.
It's very velvety, and it has a really, really pleasing texture to it. And when you run your fingers over it, it's very smooth.
I'm going to show you, though, it didn't start off that way. I try to take pictures every time I stop burning for a break, just so I can have an update and I can look at it differently and what have you. So, as I was working on the background, you can see the mess of that. So I've gone from that to that, and it still needs to go darker on this side to match this side. But it was rough. Actually, it wasn't right there. It was rough for a while. You can see where the grain is off and raised, so I had to push the grain down, and I did that with the extra large spoon shader. Right now, to darken at this point, to get that dark, I'm having to burn at about 6.5 with the medium spoon shader to allow me to get in between the grain. But in between the extra large and the medium, I've had to use the large and work my way down. So this temperature, this darkness right here is 6.5 to get that dark. But I just wanted to show it started off as a real mess, and I had to keep telling myself it's not going to stay this way. Yes, it looks like I messed it up, but it's not messed up. We will get there, and he's getting there, and I'm definitely much happier with it. But I had to give myself some grace and remind myself I know what the outcome will be. I don't need to freak out. It's not a big deal. Down.
So, and I guess the point I was making is that, the way that you do it gradually, it gives it a nice quality. And if you were to go just dark right off the bat, you'd be creating a surface that's more akin to charcoal.
Yes.
And
I've done that. I have done that.
And that's not...
I did not like the outcome.
No, and that's not something that you want because, well, for one, it'll have a much different texture and appearance than the rest of your work. And so it's going to stand out anytime that your work is viewed at an angle.
Oh, I have a piece. It's just not in here. I should have grabbed it so I could show the difference.
But I think that if you work carefully and methodically like this, then you're going to get that really pleasing tone and texture on your work. But it does require more time.
Yes, it does. A lot more time.
Wanda says it looks great.
Thank you. I am enjoying him. I'm overall, and anybody that's been with us for a little while knows I don't say that often.
No, you don't.
His mustache definitely needs to go darker. Now, in the photo, it shows spots on his nose. I have them marked on my reference. I know over here on his cheek that's a mole. I know that. What I don't know if it's a artifact of the plate or that's really what was on his face. So I need to decide. Well, I can always come back to it. I don't have to decide right.
That's always a hard thing, when you're dealing with references, especially older references. And it could be, doesn't even have to be like vintage references like this. Like if you got photos of, family members from the 70s, you can run into the same problems. Shoot, 80s, 90s. Back before the digital age, when photographs, were developed and printed. Old photos, they age and weather.
Yep. All right, we're going to up the temperature to 3.5 because we got to darken these eyelids. These eyelids got to go darker. So I'm going to do it in steps again so I can have control. And I think that makes a big difference. All right. Let's get in there. I may actually switch over to the extra small just to do it quicker. I know I say not to go quicker, but everybody's time matters.
Yeah.
And I want you guys to see a difference. So that's why I try to go quicker, but when I'm not on camera, I take my time. It's just so you guys can see a difference.
If there's one piece of art advice that I think that everybody, it's universal.
Yeah, we're going to switch.
Is to slow down. Whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Just slow down. It's more important, I think, to get there and have a piece that you like than something you get done quickly, and maybe realize that at the end that you should have put more time into it, because at that point it may not be possible to correct any problems that you have.
Yeah.
So best to put in the time and work slowly and carefully.
I just wiped off my pen. That's why if you smell something, I just wipe my pen off. Alright. So I'm at 3.5. I'm going to touch down in the eyebrows because I need to darken them anyway. Get that rough guy eyebrow.
Andrea says thanks for your time.
Now, I appreciate your guys' time.
Yeah, you guys don't have to spend time here with us, but you do. And
so I want to make sure you get the most out of it.
It is very much appreciated. So,
alright.
I think we talk about this a lot, but I think that Valerie's work attracts a specific kind of artist. So if you're here, you are most likely more interested in the quality of your work than to get something done quick for fame and, you know, in profit. You know, I think that the people who follow Valarie and who hang out with us regularly are real artists at heart. That you're more concerned about doing something correctly than just getting it done. And I think that that's really cool to have folks like that, you know, with you and watching you. And I would rather have, you know, one of you guys than, you know, 100 people who don't really care, you know, about the process. I think that's important.
Darkening things up.
I mean, financially, it would be great if there was
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, it
but
it is what it is.
But I think it's more important to have people who really want to learn about the process.
I'm just using the tip, top half of the tip. Just trying to darken. Are we seeing a difference?
I think that, like, when I was growing up, you know, my dad would show me how to do something, and I'd get impatient with him, and he'd say, "Do you want to know how to learn how to do it fast, or do you want to know how to do it correct?"
Right.
And, you know, you're never gonna answer fast. Even though as a kid I was like, I just want to do it fast. But really, that is the correct answer. It's like doing it right, you know. And
I'm not being smooth about this because skin does have texture. So, I'm not being overly smooth. See, this line is a pretty dark line. I'll drag it down. I'll actually probably use the 18 small just so I can blend it out. This goes down.
Cynthia says yes.
Layla, you're going to drive me nuts,
She's
Charles.
really enjoying the chair today.
Yeah, she is. That's all dark.
We have one of our doggies,
This is Layla. I think they know Layla
Yeah.
from the burning.
but she likes licking metal. And there's just something about it that's like self-soothing for her. And
So if you hear that, that's what's going on.
she's licking the metal ring that is the footrest, Valerie's chair. And she's in the house. She likes to go to the back door and lick the metal on the sliding glass door. And she'll do it. I don't know. It's not like she's got a vitamin deficiency. She just really likes it.
Alright, I'm trying to figure out what... And I haven't done the background within the hair because I, again, was trying to figure out if that's an ear. If I want to have an ear in this spot right here.
So Wanda says, I'm really having to train myself to slow down. For adults with ADHD, slow is not naturally in our vocabulary.
This is true. This is true.
Cynthia says, I kept telling myself last night, slow down.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to do the same thing, you know, because especially when a piece starts coming together, and you know you get anxious, you get like, oh man, I want to see this done, and so you know your instinct is to speed up so you can see it done, but that is the that is counterintuitive. You know, you should not be speeding up. You should be slowing down, take a step back, and make sure that you're doing what you really need to do.
I feel like the shape of the eye is still off, so I gotta figure out how. I'm gonna switch back over to the small because that burns differently and I can get into the smaller area.
Well, I mean, it looks accurate to me.
Well, compared to this eye, and I need to fix the shape of this eyeball.
Andrea says, even if you don't have ADHD, it is hard. I guess
It
it
is.
comes with time. Yep, it is. We are humans are by nature impatient things. So learning to slow down is a difficult process. But you know, I think in philosophy, all across the globe, I think that is a common theme that you'll find, is that to slow down. And I think that one of the byproducts of this is that if you can learn to slow down in pyrography, that you may be able to slow down and appreciate other things as well. So it's also very therapeutic. In theory.
In theory.
Yeah.
Trying to decide if I just make the eye too small. I can erase the graphite I have there. Don't need any of this graphite anymore. Now these shadows are not dark enough. I just did enough so that I can erase. So we can wipe down. And the photo has a highlight along this part of his head. So I'll have to decide if that's how I want it. I do need to fix the shadow right here. Oh, right here. I think I was pointing the wrong place because I was looking at my reference and talking at the same time. Get rid of graphite down here. And we will wipe him off in a minute. Now on varnishing, this dark background is going to go darker because of the varnish. And it's going to be a beautiful dark brown, like really dark brown. That is just chef's kiss. It's so worth doing, even though it takes so long to do it. Let's see here. So I got this going down. This is the shadow over here. Darken this. Bring it together. He has a lighter flesh right in here that I'm trying to preserve. I'll have to decide if it's worth preserving. Let's see here. Layla, you drive me nuts, child. It's my chair. Darker down here. Because this line, I've got it so dark. I'm trying to mask it a little bit so I don't have to sand. It's just a little too dark.
Wanda says she's happy to know that she's not alone.
Oh no.
Andrea says, me too.
No. Even while I was working on the background, I would start, well, one, I was falling asleep one day. So I had to change my music, make a new playlist. I still wanted to listen to some women. That's what I was in the mood for. But I had to pick the rock songs so that I could keep burning without falling asleep. Because have you ever been I'm just going to close my eyes for a second. Just, when it's the worst time to close your eyes? That's what I was having happen. That I finally had to stop. And just be so that I didn't burn anything. So all this shadow on the side of the face that I went really light on now needs to darken and filled in with the flesh, because this is a very strong shadow that I want to preserve, but there's no high highlights in it. So right now I'm flat, doing some ovals, and in this it does burnish the wood down. Bring this over, and I'm actually going to take my time darkening the side of the face, because these are really good shadows and I don't want to lose them. I can do them with the 12, or I'm sorry, the 18 small, or I can switch over to the spoon shader. I don't know if I want to do that. Darken this up, and his hair really lightened up because of the background. So I will darken parts of the hair. Let's go a little darker. Gotta be careful looking away, just so I don't go so dark in one spot. So this shadow along his chin is a really good shadow that I want to keep. And I will up the heat here in a moment to darken the shadows more, because this is burnishing the wood. So I'm going to need more heat. Layla. So just by putting this lighter shadow in, we already see this darker shadow needs to go darker. Flat.
Layla.
And if I go too dark on this shadow, that means the other shadows need to darken up. And maybe that's what really needs to happen, but I was being a little more cautious.
Yes, look at that. That's good.
So that's okay. Right now we're doing good. Again, I gotta be careful looking away.
She's looking. I wanted to ask if she's looking or chewing.
Looking.
She's looking. She doesn't.
She knocks her teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you hear. And she's done it ever since she's been with us. Get this in. I did notice that the lip needs to go darker around it. So we're going to get this chin in.
Layla.
Again, I'm intentionally keeping it light so I can have more control. It is going to have to go darker, because when I go to varnish, these lighter face ones that we have right now, they will look like they disappeared because the wood got as dark as those burning the area. So I do have to darken. God, you're driving me nuts. Because my feet are vibrating because of it. Hey, baby. Alright, let's get rid of some of this. His hair definitely has to go darker too. This is my Vanish 4-in-1 eraser. I do like it. Not cheap on Amazon. I have them listed there. They're cheaper over on Dick Blick. Let's see here. Where's the box? I don't have it within hand reaching. Oh, and last week I forgot to mention that this is basswood. Oh, my hair. I don't want to burn it. It will stink. Alright. This comes down. I think I'm going to make this shadow a little bit bigger. Just because I want to. That goes back to artistic choice at this point. This comes up. So this comes up. Gotta shape the chin. There we go. That's a little better shaped. Darken that one. But by going this light, I know it's frustrating to have to take this extra time. But I promise, in doing so, if you really give yourself that chance, you will see a difference. Just like if you spent an extra 2 hours on a piece compared to what you already spent on it, you will see a difference. Difference is worth making. I know it's hard.
You'll see some artists that walk away from a piece and they'll say, "Oh, it's finished," after they get done. And I think that particular brand of artist is maybe not necessarily that self-critical, and so when they get done with a piece, in their head it's done. They don't need to go back to it. But I think that it's really important, and I think a lot of really good and respected artists, they will get to a certain point in their work and they'll take a step back and consider it for a while. Even if they have done everything that they think that they can do, they'll still step away from it a little bit and let it sit before they declare it done, because it allows you some time to be objective about it. And that's the thing, is that being able to be objective about it and to see what you really need to do. And so, like Val says, you could think a piece is done, and there is a case for not overworking a piece too. But I think in most instances, if once you get it to a point that you're happy with, you probably should step away and then come back, and you will find that you probably require, a couple extra hours to finesse some details. And then when you do that, step away again and come back, because it allows you to reset your perceptions and to see it as it actually is, as opposed to how you think it is. And because in your mind, you're going to want to be done with it, or you want to think that it's awesome, but it isn't really.
Oh, I went too dark there. That's
and
all right.
I've had to learn this the hard way. I've got a lot of little practice portraits that I got done, and I thought, yeah, that's good. And I go back and I look at them, later, and they're not at all done. There's things that are off about them, where I rushed them, or there's things that I could work for longer and actually make a finished piece, but they're really not in a state of completion that I thought that they were at the time. So putting in the extra work at the end is always important. You might not see it. You might have to step away for a little bit in order to get that fresh perspective, but it's probably going to happen.
There you go, camera. I don't think I want a camera.
You can lick that part. That's quiet.
Trying to go flat. so I can move quicker and hopefully not catch any of the grain, because this part is not burned right here. This is all raw wood, so it's easier to catch the grain. We can darken the wrinkle now. It's still really light. I don't want a straight line on the wrinkle. Because wrinkles come in and out, so we don't want any kind of really straight lines. I think I have enough of the landmarks in. I can do a little bit of a wipe off. I still didn't make a decision on the nose. So let's make a decision.
What's your decision? What about what?
Oh, if I'm going to add any kind of molds to it, which I have now made the decision. I just did it.
Okay.
So, didn't think too much on that one.
Well, I mean, I guess, you know, as...
It's probably better that I didn't, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so light that I can put a couple together, because now it looks like they're in a line. Let's see here. We can wipe off. I know I still have graphite down here, even though it's filled in, but we can at least wipe off the face so I can tell how dark. And turn off my burner just so I don't burn myself. How dark I need to go with these shadows. So I'm using the denatured alcohol. I keep it in a jar just because it's easier than opening the can. I am using the blue shop towels that are a little thicker. I like these better. And then I always bend it in half and rip, because I don't need a full paper towel. So that gives me another piece. And I'm going to roll, fold. Let's see here, I'll fold this way. I still have a hair stuck to me. There it is. Got it. Excuse me. This stuff does stink. If you're sensitive, a mask might not be a bad thing. And gloves. And I just dip a little corner. I'll push some off because I don't need it soaking wet. Whew. It is strong stuff. And I'm not going to need any more, so I put it away. And I got pretty wet. Ow, shoot. Well,
What's the matter?
I dropped it over here by Morgan.
Okay,
I don't have a...
I got it.
Sorry, guys.
I got it.
Watch your head.
Layla, it's not for you.
They won't go near it. It stinks too much. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Still pretty wet.
It's my job.
That's even more wet than I normally use. But okay. See, look at that dark. Look at that. Oh, that's going to be so gorgeous. Let me back this up. Look at that. Oh. I'm going to love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, the varnishing may not go as dark, but look at that. Oh, look at that. Look how pretty that is.
Wow.
I don't have to darken more on that side. See, we got some coming off.
And
This side does need to go darker. And I already started here, and I'll show you here in a minute. She definitely needs to go darker than that. Alright. Yep, everything's got to go darker. So the wood's maybe not going to go that dark, but we did lose shading. And if we look at that photo, especially the side of the face, I got to bite the bullet and go darker and be okay with that. This stuff dries really quick. And see, even just off the face, we have carbon coming off. That's just the way it is. Let's see his vest, because I do know this needs to go darker too. Oh yeah, that's going to have to go much darker. I haven't erased the graphite down here.
And this could be disheartening for some people, I think, because you could imagine that, oh, I think I'm done, and then you could wipe it down and realize that you have a lot more work to do.
Yep.
And so I think it's something that you kind of have to be mentally prepared for.
Oh, I knew it wasn't going to be dark enough, so that's why I'm okay with it.
But this is important, though, because when you varnish it, you're going to get a similar effect. So what you think you've done, if you don't check it by wiping it down, it might not be the desired result. You might varnish it and then find out that it's not what you wanted. But at that point, it's going to be too late.
Too late, yeah. Only wipe down after you've blocked everything in. You've got everything in, you're ready to take the graphite. I know I didn't erase down here, and that's fine. I'm just making sure it's dry. If it's cold, it is still wet, but it's not cold, so it's not wet. I'm going to show you how I've been darkening. Man, oh, that's going to be so pretty. Sorry, I got a little excited about that. A little excited. Alright.
You're allowed.
So this is the medium spoon for Optima. Because it's such a higher heat, it's not going to take long to heat up. So I'm going to touch down in an area on the side. That way, if I don't like the stroke, the frame is going to hide it. And then I go around just like I normally do the oval stroke. You do see smoke coming off of this because I am at 6.5. But just going back over the area, blending out. The smoke is not in my face because I'm angled up, and I'm at a pretty steep angle.
Spence is here.
Hey, Spence!
He says he keeps thinking it starts at 11.
Oh, well, actually, come March, when the time changes, it's going to change again for you. Alright, so just blending. Over and over. And at 6.5, I can move quicker, which is good because you get sick of doing the same thing over and over again. But I wanted to have these darks in so that we could do what we were doing, and we're going to go back to it. I just wanted to show. I go in big circles, moving quick. My pen is, for the most part, sitting on top of my cord, so my hand won't get overly hot. Did I wipe this side? I did wipe it a little bit, but I am going to feel carbon because I am burning at that higher heat. But if I pay attention to how it feels and how it sounds, because you can hear it if you know the sound, and the sound is scratchy. If it starts sounding scratchy as you're burning, you're not going to hear it right now because my pen's far enough from the mic. But I have carbon buildup, and I can feel it and I can hear it.
But the feeling of it is more important, right?
Well, it'll feel scratchy and sound scratchy. So
like
we are going to...
Or catch?
Not so much catch because of the tip I'm using. If I was using a spear shader, then yes. But not so much with the ball tips because they're not... Our spoon shaders. Alright, so I've turned off. We're looking for light gray if I can get it. I tend to, it's more of the graphite or carbon's going to be over here because I tend to move the tip at an angle. So wipe, I'm not putting any more aluminum oxide because I got plenty. Wipe it off. I knew this was not hot. That's why I don't feel any carbon.
How long does it take for a pen tip to cool down on average?
An Optima pen, because they're all different.
Sure.
Well, razor tip probably does it quickly too. 10 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, it's fast.
See, that's amazing.
It's fast. Now you might notice, like right here, it's not shiny. It's a matte burn for whatever reason. That's how it gets burned. When I varnish, it will all be equal in shine.
Now,
So I don't have to worry about that either.
Wanda says that she tends to find carbon on the shade spoon more than other pens.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what you're using to fill in.
Oh, so basically you're using it most.
Yep.
Ah. Makes sense.
Yep. But if you catch it early on, I know it's a pain in the butt to stop working, but if you can catch it early on, it's even easier to clean. You don't have a whole lot on there, so just a couple of swipes. And for the Optima, because it does cool down so quick, I mean, it took longer to clean this pen because I brought it up onto the camera. I just would have turned it off, wiped, turn it back on. And I can, at least with these, I can kind of change what's touching the wood. So I can go a little longer. But I'm burning hot, so there will be carbon regardless of what burner I'm using. I try to avoid as much as possible, and I will have less carbon because I've done these layers. There will be less carbon, but carbon will still occur. Just part of the nature of burning wood at a higher heat. That's another reason I tend to burn as low as I can. 1, to keep the pen cool, and 2, so I don't have to constantly clean my pens. Pat is always amazed at how new my pens look, the tips, because I don't have to clean them constantly. Because even with the powdered aluminum oxide, it still wears. It's still, even when you use extremely fine like I use, it still wears the metal down. Not as much as sandpaper, but the act of cleaning the tips, just like if you're sharpening a knife, you take a little bit of metal off.
Yeah.
Same thing. So I will just go back and forth over and over again. Every time I lift the pen. And yes, because this is a 1/4 inch piece of wood, the heat has warped the wood. When I frame it, it won't be an issue. It's just an issue right now for taking pictures without it being in a frame.
Yeah.
But framing it, I have not had a problem with it. And because it's 1/4 inch, it shouldn't break. So it just puts the wood back. So we got a little bit of red pen here. I don't normally keep the pen off the wood that long. So I'll quickly touch down. And I will keep going. I gotta fill in all this area. I need to check to see if there's anything over here. I know because I altered I got the face in. I need to darken right here. I try to work out from the line so I don't have a harsh line up against the face and blend it out. So I don't have that. Let's see here. And you're gonna switch back over. I'm gonna bump down to 3, And we're going to darken that side of the face so we can really see it. Everything else we'll work on later. I'll do the face and then we can darken part of the vest real quick so we can see the difference. Do you guys want another live next week? I mean, he's very close to being done. I don't know what I would title that live.
Well, I mean, you could talk about the whole process of it as a whole. Like, talk about... Because we see, like, every week we work on something specific, right? Or not we.
Well, I try to.
Right, but you could have the live where you talk about maybe the challenges of the piece and, like, how you went about it, you know? You talk about the process together instead of just one part of it. You know, talk about how everything fits together and maybe why you did it in the sequence that you did and, you know, so on and so forth. So, be wrapping up the whole thing. That's what I think. But what do you say, chat? Because you guys, we're here for you.
It's what you guys need to see to help you be as successful as possible. I do have to finish some other pieces because pending weather, I would like to go to the Desert Wood Carving Show this year at the end of this month, the end of February. So I need to get some pieces done. See, this shadow, I don't know what I did there. What I could do is I can, because it's a little too dark and I don't want to sand, I can make it a hair. Again, artistic choice.
Yes, Wanda, that is the one down there by you.
Yep, it's in Mesa. Yep. February. This year is February 24th and 25th, with art drop off being the 23rd. And I haven't done it in a while. I can only do it in the open category because I've already done too much. So I'm competing again. If I do it, I'm competing against everybody, not just wood burning. And if we do it, we would be down there at the show on the 25th. Because it's a long drive to keep going back and forth. We've done it. And it was hard. So. I feel that shadow's pretty dark. So let's bring it out a little bit. You see, this shadow connects, so I need to connect them. And Wanda, if you wanted to compete, it would be awesome to see your work if we're there.
And there's lots of different categories or tiers to compete in.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I would say that there is a competition level for everyone, no matter what your skill level, as it should be.
I need to round this chin.
Andreas says, work on your pieces for the show. I can refer to the videos as needed. Spence says, are there fees to put your work in there?
There are. There are. Thank you for asking. Yes. Members, I believe, don't quote me on the numbers, but the members, I believe, is like, you know what? Rather than me give you the wrong information, because that bugs me. It bugs me to give you wrong information.
Really?
Yes, it is a pet peeve of mine. So that's the Desert Wood Carving Show.
While you're doing that, Wanda says she's never heard of what you're talking about, but the 25th might find you face to face.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be amazing.
Alrighty.
She might come just to experience, but not to compete.
Oh, that's all personal choice. Let's see here. Yeah, 11 and 3. The cost. What we looking at? Where is it?
I think
So
Wanda wants to know
$7 for members, $10 for non-members. So it's going to cost $10 a piece. So if I do this one, I'm looking at about $50 probably.
Yeah.
Because
what is typically the entry fee to get into the show? Just to
good question.
Just
to get
to
in,
join,
yes,
not to compete, but just to
visit.
I feel like it's like
You pay once and you get a band or something, and you can come all weekend for that price.
But I feel like it's like $10 or $15 or something.
Not.
It's not that expensive.
They have question marks. It doesn't do me any good. Darn it! It don't do me any good.
Wanda wants the address.
Let's see here. It's at Mesa Centennial Hall. I'll post it in the group. 201 North Center Street in Mesa, which is the southeast corner of University Drive and Center. They don't have the price listed. It might have been $10 for the weekend.
I feel like it was something like that. She wants to know if there's a phone number.
Contact us. You can. New contacts pending. No, they do not have. See, I had to call them one year because we were coming down that Sunday for the competition and to pick up the art, and there was a horrific, of which we were almost involved, horrific accident. So I had to call, but they don't have any numbers listed. I had to call because I was like, oh shoot, what do I do? What are you guys going to do with my art if we can't make it down there? You know? That was a stressful day.
Wanda said super. Not about the stressful day.
No.
About the other stuff.
No.
I'm just letting you know we're well after noon.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, we're like an hour and 4 minutes or something.
We got to get stuff done before this storm really.
I know. That's why I'm reminding you.
Because how much snow we already got?
Well, I see about 2 inches on the roof, but the road is white. So.
All right. So, well, I can.
She found it. Admission is $10.
Oh, thank you.
I thought that was about what it was.
Yeah. If you enter into the competition, it's free.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't cost. It doesn't cost us for me to get in.
That's right. There's an entry fee for your art, but if you enter the art, then you get access to the exhibition for free.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Pam from Desert Wood Carvers comes down from Colorado.
Yeah.
And does the show every year.
Yeah. So you could actually and if you like.
She'll have Optima pins there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
There's all kinds of cool stuff there.
Yes, wood. There's wood. Lots of wood. Carving wood, burning wood. Not burning wood so much, but we can use the wood. Basswood. The main things I remember seeing is a bunch of basswood.
Mom.
And
Mom.
hello. Yes. Oh.
Mom.
Tickle. Butternut for carving, and I think there might be some balsa wood. But that's where I've gotten my really, really big pieces of basswood is from this show.
Spence says wood.
Wood, yep.
Yeah, that's what I got to deal with.
Yep. I mean, and this is not to be arrogant, but when I win money prize from the show, I run around the show using all my gift cards because for the winnings, if you win the money portion of it, you get vendor gift cards. So I'm running around the vendors looking at all the wood so I can just stack up the woods. I've got hundreds of dollars of wood from there.
We have enough wood to probably build a shed or a boat.
No, we don't have that much.
A small boat, a rowboat.
Say hi, Roxy. Say hi, Roxy.
Roxy.
Oh, sure. Now they all want to see.
They're like, Mom, it's lunchtime.
Happy birthday, Wanda. It was the middle of January. I'm
Oh,
sorry
okay.
we missed it. I would have sung to you. She bought her wood for her birthday. Hey, that is a good birthday present, huh? Huh. But I have enough wood, so you don't get off on Valentine's Day that easy.
You know what I was thinking.
Oh, you were thinking
I was thinking
exactly that. Okay, thank you, King. I
Hello.
have to say
Hello.
bye. She's standing on me and getting your face. Alrighty, well, if you guys want it next week, we will do. Andrea's daughter says the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, wood all over. So, and Kathy, he's up by Wickenburg, so that would be a long haul for Kathy.
Yeah.
Unless she's in town. He's getting close. I will do some more work. I definitely need to get this side done, because as soon as this is done, I can really darken up even more, because I'll be able to tell what's going on with the hair. I am not hating him. I think
Such a positive affirmation.
I think thus far, knock on wood, this is, put him under easel, as it should be, my best portrait.
Well, that's more positive.
As it should be. If it wasn't, I'd be upset. Because it means I hadn't learned anything. But I see growth. I see difference. And that makes me feel good. I do see it. He definitely, looking at the reference photo right there, definitely the coat and the cravat needs to darken. For sure. And like I said, she's going to go much lighter. Or darker, sorry. And areas of the coat need to go darker. I'll keep the pattern because it makes sense. It reads right, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, do we have any more questions? And then we can go enjoy the snow. And it's big flakes and it's wet. I might get a snowman. I might get a snowman this year. Alrighty, you know what to say with me. Let's do this. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist. Happy burning guy. Oh yes, Wanda, snow. You forget we're up here in the mountains. We get snow. Bye. Oh, she's jealous.
Oh.
Love my snow. Love my